والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين واللعنة الدائمة الأبدية على أعدائهم أجمعين لا قيام يوم الدين. Inshallah, we are going to take lesson 10 of the rules of fasting from Ayatollah Al-Uzma Sayyid Al-Sistani, and obviously it is the penalties, the kafaras, as we mentioned. So these are rules of the kafarat, or the introduction to the kafarat. So as I said, I'm going to read the Arabic part, you follow the English one, and I'm going to explain the Arabic as I go through. تجب الكفارة بتعمد الإفطار بالأكل أو الشرب أو الجماع أو الاستمناء. So you need to understand that there are 9 invalidators. Some scholars, they say 10 invalidators. As we mentioned, there are core invalidators. They are the structure of the fast. That means there is no mercy in those. So eating, drinking, obviously if eating is drinking like is not a core invalidator, then what's fasting? Besides, I mean, fasting is the fasting of the soul and fasting of the nafs and fasting, all those. But when we talk about the religious structure of the fasting as a religious ruling, when the fast is valid and invalid. So there are core things. These core things are 4 things. Subhanallah, it rhymes. So these core things are 4 things. Number 1, eating. Number 2, drinking. Number 3, sexual intercourse. Number 4, masturbating. That means janaba. And number 5, remaining on the janaba until the rise of the dawn, and you have not done the ghusl. So these are the core invalidators. We know that there are 10 invalidators, 9 invalidators, but core invalidators are these 5. Number 1, food, drink, intercourse, masturbation, and remaining on the janaba until the rise of the dawn. So he says that kafara becomes obligated if the fast is invalidated. Tajibul kafara bita'ammud al-iftar. The kafara penalty becomes obligatory if the fast was invalidated by the list of the things which mentioned. So this is the, if somebody intentionally does these kind of things which we mentioned, these 5 things, then kafara is must, penalty is must. أو بأحد الأربع الأول. There's a concession for the qada when you're making up your fast, qada. Many times people they stay until after the fajr in janaba. So qada fast, you don't have to do the ghusl before the fajr. So basically there are 2 fasts. Holy month of Ramadan invalidates intentionally by doing one of these 5 things, and kafara is there. Qada of holy month of Ramadan, if you do 4 things only after zawal, after dhuhr, then it invalidates the fast. Okay. So now here we have what about the staying in the state of janaba? We know that if a person stays in the state of janaba and fajr rises, he has not done ghusl, not done tayammum, then he has to give the penalty. Okay. How if he stays in janaba until the fajr, after fajr time, in the qada أو تعمد البقاء على الجنابة في صوم شهر رمضان. So what about the qada fast? He said no, qada fast there's no kafara. In qada fast, if after fajr you were in the state of janaba, that's fine. You can do the ghusl, pray salat al-fajr. So if you were in janaba before fajr, you need to make ghusl or tayammum before the fajr in the holy month of Ramadan. As for non-holy month of Ramadan, you don't have to. So the only difference, as you can see, between the holy month of Ramadan and the non-holy month of Ramadan, these are the differences. The differences is in one, the staying in the janaba, you don't have any kafara in the qada fast, but you have kafara in the holy month of Ramadan. So he says, أو بأحد الأربع الأول في قضائه بعد الزوال, or one of those four things if he does after the zawal. Before the zawal, obviously, if you do one of these things, then you will not be able to fast. You just fast another day, because you have to be in a state you have not done any of the invalidators before zawal, before dhuhr. Zawal means dhuhr. So if you have done before dhuhr, fast another day. You can't fast this day. But if you fix your intention with dhuhr, then if you do one of these four things, not five things, then you are going to be paying kafara, penalty. Or, so if you remember, we have holy month of Ramadan fast, we have qada, and we have this fixed specific. Let's say somebody did nadhar, lillahi alayhi, I'm doing nadhar that I'm going to fast lillahi. If I pass the test, for example, I'm going to fast 15 Sha'ban or 13th Rajab or something like that, and you pass, then you have to. Then the rules of fixed day recommended fast or obligatory, it becomes another obligatory, is similar to the holy month of Ramadan. The niyat needs to be done before. أو بشيء من المفطرات المتقدمة في الصوم المنظور المعين, or any of the five things which you mentioned, if it was a fixed fast. So fixed day fast is similar to the holy month of Ramadan. Okay. Now, kafara, is it wajib on everybody? He says no. Anybody who intentionally invalidates the fast, he says no. ويختص وجوب الكفارة بمن كان عالما بكون ما يرتكبه مفطرا. Okay, so the kafara is wajib specifically for the person who knows that whatever I'm doing is an invalidator. So let's say you did not know that private relations with the wife is an invalidator. So you did not know, okay? So therefore, now you did not know are two types. We said last night, the ignorant person are of two types. Ignorant, intentional ignorant, that means he doubts, but he doesn't seek answer. Or the other type is non-intentional ignorant, non-deliberate ignorant. This person, it never comes in his mind. The doubt never comes. So why should he ask? So there are two types of ignorance. If doubt comes, I don't know, is it haram to do this in the fast or not? It came in your mind. You just kept it as it is. No, you clarify. If you don't clarify, you are intentional. You remained ignorant intentionally. You remain ignorant intentionally. You were able to clear your doubts. You were able to ask. Why didn't you ask? So that is why some of the Maraja, this on the day of judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask the ignorant people, why didn't you ask? Say, Ya Allah, I did not know. Why didn't you ask? You doubted. But if somebody who did not doubt, never came in their mind, so then that person, so here let's see, يختص وجوب الكفارة. The obligation of kafara is specific for those people بمن كان عالما بكون ما يرتكب مفطر. For those people who knew that whatever they are doing is an invalidator. So if somebody did not know that something was invalidator, there's no kafara. However, this not knowing, ويلحق على الأحوط لزوما الجاهل المقصر المتردد في المفطرية. So the intentional ignorant, the one who doubts, maybe this might invalidate, maybe it might not, maybe. You're doubting, go and ask. So he says, on the basis of obligatory precaution, this guy, ignorant guy, who is intentional ignorant, deliberate ignorant, he is going to also pay the kafara because he did not ask. Okay, what about the unintentional ignorant? The one who never doubted. وَأَمَّا الْجَاهِلِ الْقَاصِرِ And as for the unintentional ignorant, أو المقصر غير المتردد, or the one who is intentional but never had hesitation. Obviously, if never had hesitation, it's almost like qasir, it's almost like unintentional. فلا كفارة عليه. So these people, they will not have kafara. Let's say if somebody, God forbid, did, like the many youth, they ask this. That's why I'm presenting it, because it's very practical. The youth, they used to do masturbation in the holy month of Ramadan. Then really they were told that it is haram, it is invalidator. So now what will happen? So if these youth, they had never ever doubted, obviously it's haram, so they are committing sin. But they did not know that it is an invalidator in the day, during the day of the holy month of Ramadan in fasting time. So we will ask them, had you doubted before? They said, no, that never came in our mind. You say, why would this be an invalidator? Like some of them, they told me, why would we consider this? We thought fasting is like a don't eat, don't drink, that's it. Okay, and we don't smoke sometimes. But to this kind of thing, we never heard that. No one told us that masturbation is one of the invalidators. Okay, so therefore, for these people who never ever doubted, they don't have to pay kafara. They just have to pay one qada. فلو استعمل مفطرا باعتقاده. So if somebody uses the invalidator باعتقاده أنه لا يبطل الصوم, believing that it does not invalidate, like the example I gave, لم تجب عليه الكفارة. Then kafara is not wajib. سواء اعتقد حرمته في نفسه أم لا, whether he was thinking it's haram or not. So he knows, yes, I know haram, but what can I do? It's a problem I have. Okay, so he knows it's haram. So he says, whether you knew it's haram or you knew it's not haram, as long as you did not know that it was an invalidator, there's no kafara. This ruling, the other maraja, they differ. Some maraja, they say, no, you pay kafara, because if you thought it was not an invalidator, but you know it was a forbidden act. So some maraja, but Ayatollah Sistani says, no, he has committed sin. If he does not repent, Allah will punish him. However, kafara is not obligated on him, because he did not know it's an invalidator. Subhanallah, the same example we mentioned, Ayatollah Sistani mentions. فلو استمنى متعمدا عالما بحرمته معتقدا. If a person masturbates intentionally, knowingly that it is haram, okay, but does not know that it is an invalidator of fast, ولو لتقصير, even like out of shortcoming, like he has this ignorancy, that ignorancy out of never hesitated he, okay, عدم معتقدا عدم بطلان الصوم به, he believes that fasting does not get invalidated through it. فلا كفارة عليه, there is no penalty on him. نعم لا يعتبر في وجوب الكفارة العلم بوجوبه. Now, okay, we gave you a lot of freebies, okay? Now you can't say, okay, but I did not. Now he knows that masturbating is invalidator. He knows that it's haram. Okay, so now he did it. But he did not know that penalty will be obligated on him. So he comes, oh, Maulana, Sheikhna, I did this, so what? Well, you knew it. Did you know that it was haram? Yes. Okay. Did you know that it was invalidator? Yes. Sorry. Then you have to pay kafara. But I did not know that there is a kafara. Well, that is not, we can't give up that. That's what Sayyidi Sistani said. So the obligation of the penalty is not based on the knowledge of its obligation. So whether you know that kafara is obligated or you don't know that kafara is obligated, it doesn't matter. Once you know that whatever you are doing is invalidator, you have to welcome the kafara, okay? Welcome the kafara. The kafara will be there. Why? Because you knew that it's an invalidator. But I did not know that kafara is wajib. Well, that doesn't matter. The main thing is you knew that kafara, you knew that you have done something which invalidates. Now be ready for the punishment. You know that you violated the law. Okay. So now the types of penalty. There are three types of penalty. كفارة إفطار يوم شهر Ramadan. For the holy month of Ramadan, مخيرة. You have an option between three things. Between عتق رقبة, freeing the slave, وصوم شهرين متتابعين, and fasting 2 months continuously. يعني you have a choice. Either you free a slave, مخيرة بين عتق رقبة وصوم شهرين متتابعين وإطعام 60 مسكين. Or you feed 60 poor. And the 60 poor, you feed them what? You feed them each poor, you feed them 3/4. Fjerde or fjerde del, something like that. Tre fjerde del, something like 3/4. 0.75 kilogram. Okay, that means 3/4, 3/4 kilograms. That means 750 grams. So you have to pay this to the poor, each poor. 60 poor, you have to feed them. Now, slave, we don't have slaves nowadays. Though this was one of the methods that Islam freed the people from the slavery. That at 60 poor, you feed 10 kroner, let's say 6 tens or 600 kroners. 600 kroners, okay? And the slaves, those they would cost about 600,000 kroners, okay? Just an average. They were very costly. So look how Islam brought the price of slavery down to equal to 60 poor. That means if you do some of the invalidators, one free gone from your list of the slaves, one slave gone. So the slaves would, Ya Allah, let him make kafara, let him make kafara, Ya Allah. They would day and night pray. Masaibu qawmin li qawmin fawaid. Musibat of some people are benefit for other people. So these people would pray, Ya Allah, a'tiq raqabana, a'tiq raqabatna, yani free our necks, shoulders, or free ourselves from this person. So when this person, whoops, falls into the invalidator of fast or does something, violates the qasam or nadar, and the first thing goes is the slave is freed. And now there's another thing. عِتْقُ رَقَبَةٍ مُؤْمِنَةٍ. That means free a believer slaver. What that did was the slaves, they said, oh, he was a believer, he got this freedom. So they started embracing Islam. Wishing that their master does something wrong, so the mu'min slave goes free. So this was an incentive for people to embrace Islam for the slaves. So the slaves, they started wanting to become Muslims, because what if their master does something wrong, they would become free. So لِكُلِّ مِسْكِينٍ مُدٍّ. So now this is the holy month of Ramadan. Fast, breaking the fast of the holy month of Ramadan. The penalty is this. وَالْأَحْوَطِ الْأَوْلَى, as a recommended precaution. فِي الْإِفْطَارِ عَلَى الْحَرَامِ الْجَمْعَ بَيْنَ الْخِصَالِ الثَّلَاثِ. If you break your fast by using haram thing, like drinking alcohol, na'udhu billah, or masturbation, or doing something, the followers of Sayyidi Sistani are lucky because this is its recommended precaution, 3 of them. For Sayyid al-Khoy, it was obligatory to do 3 of them. 3 kafarat together, fast 60 days, and feed 60 poor, and free slaves. So they used to say, where will we get the slave? Should we buy a chicken and let her go in the yard or streets, or should we buy a goat? So now I bought the goat. The goat is my slave. I tell the goat, go, fi sabilillah, you are free. No, the freeing of the slave is human slave. Okay, so so therefore, Sayyid Sistan says, no, it's not wajib to pay 3. It's recommended precaution. So if you pay one of the 3, it is fine. So Sayyid Sistan says, even if somebody invalidates the fast on haram, of course he has committed very greatest haram in violating the holy month of fast of the holy month of Ramadan and committing haram. That's the greatest sin. However, the kafara will be only one, because the evidences of combining all the kafaras are weak to say this is that. Okay, what about the qadha? If after the dhuhr, if a person who's fasting qadha of the holy month of Ramadan, make up, what will happen if he breaks his fast, invalidates it? Feeding 10 poor. Okay, so feeding 10 poor, that is the qadha. وكفارة إفطار قضاء شهر رمضان بعد الزوال, and the penalty of invalidating the fast of qadha after the dhuhr, إطعام عشرة مساكين, feeding 10 poor, لكل مسكين مد, every miskin you give mud, is like 3/4 trade or fier the day, like 3 or 5, 3 or 4, like 750 grams. So each poor لكل مسكين مد فإن لم يتمكن صام 3 أيام. Let's say there's an economical crisis, a person cannot feed 10 poor, then you fast 3 days in substitution. This is in sequence. If you can't, then you fast 3 days. No, if you can, you can't fast 3 days. It's not an option. It's a sequence. So first comes first, which is the feeding the poor. So we now know penalty of the holy month of Ramadan, 3 things: penalty of the qadha, 10 poors, if not, then fast 3 days. What about the fixed day oath or vowed? Like you said, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will passes you, then you will fast 15 Sha'ban or what, you just, and you pass. So now you have a specific fixed day you have to fast. You don't have an option because you made another for a specific day. So what if you break that specific day? وَكَفَّارَةُ إِفْطَارِ الصَّوْمِ الْمَنْذُورِ, and the penalty of the fast which has been based on a vow of a specific day. Kafaratu yameen, it is the penalty of the oath, penalty of the qasam. On what is the penalty of qasam? وَيَعِتْقُ رَقَبَةً, free a slave. أَوْ إِطْعَامُ عَشْرَةِ مَسَاكِينَ, or feed 10 miskin, every poor 3/4 kilos. أَوْ كِسْوَةُ عَشْرَةِ مَسَاكِينَ, or clothe 10 poor, feed them or clothe them. فَإِنْ عَجَزَ, if he is unable to do that, it was not possible to feed or clothe, then he can fast 3 days. So now, what about the kafara? Now, this mas'ala also ruling, other maraja, they have differences from Sayyid Sistani. So pay attention. So if you hear from someone which is different, then know that he must be telling you the mas'ala of his marja who might not be Sayyid Sistani. Because even Sayyid al-Khuy had a difference here. He says, repetition. Let's say a guy ate. He said, okay, now I have invalidated the fast. The fast is invalid. Now let's bring biryani, pacha, gamer, all this kind of hefty food, because this guy has been waiting the whole day. So what will happen here? We'll say, no. Yo, stop down, hold on your horses. What are you doing? The fast is already invalid, so let me enjoy mine. No. If you invalidate the fast, then you have to abstain the rest of the day. And then do the qadha. And then if there's a penalty, then penalty. So what about the penalty? So if you eat again, there will be no penalty, but it will be haram. It will be haram if you eat again. That's number 1. Number 2, if for Sayyid al-Khuy and other maraja, they say if you eat once, eat several times, kafara will be 1 per day. one kafara per day, except for intercourse. The kafara is repeated by the repetition of the intercourse in one day. Okay, the intercourse means the whole session of intercourse. But Sayyidi Sistani says no, there's spelling and rule. It doesn't matter. So Sayyidi Sistani says in this rule 1017, تتكرر الكفارة بتكرر الموجب في يومين. The kafara is repeated if the cause is repeated in 2 days. لا في يوم واحد, not in 1 day. Okay, not even in the intercourse and masturbation. Why he says even? Because other maraja, they say no. In masturbation, the more he does, or intercourse, the more he does, the more he pays kafara. Say this instance, one kafara is enough per day, per act. So if he did masturbation and ate and drank, so he will have 3 kafaras. Okay, so per act. Drinking is an invalidator. Many of the people, they don't think, they eat and drink, oh, I have only 1 kafara. No. Eating has a kafara. Drinking has a kafara. So if you have done 4 acts, you will have 4 kafaras per day. But if you repeat the same act, say the Sistani says you don't have to. Even if it was intercourse and masturbation, فَإِنَّهَا لَا تَتَكَرَّرْ. Therefore, it does not repeat. وَإِنْ كَانَ الْإِحْتِيَاطُ بِتَكَرَّرِهِمَا. If the masturbation and intercourse is repeated, the kafara is not going to be repeated. The kafara is not going to be repeated. وَإِنْ كَانَ الْإِحْتِيَاطُ فِي مَحَلَّ. Because some ulamas, they said, so we say if you want to do precaution, repeat the kafara. Unable to pay penalty. Now this guy is economical crisis. He can't pay 60 poor. Wow, that's a lot. 10 poor, I can't. 1 poor, I can't give. You're telling me to feed 10 poor or 60 poor? So this guy has a serious economical problem. So he says, من عجز عن الخصال الثلاث في كفارة الإفطار في شهر رمضان تصدق بما يطيق أي يطعم من 60 مسكينا حسب تمكنه. He says, whomsoever is not able to pay one of these 3 penalties of the holy month of Ramadan, freeing slave or 60 poor or tasaddaqa, it gives sadaqah, charity, with whatever amount. And how? He feeds less than 60 poor. If you can feed 1 poor, feed 1 poor. If you can feed 5 poor, feed 5 poor. Okay? So this is what a person cannot. وَمَعَ التَّعَذُّرِ. Let's say this guy, even 1 poor cannot be, he cannot feed 1 poor. Even 1 poor he cannot feed. يَتَعَيَّنُ عَلَيْهِ الْإِسْتِغْفَارِ. The istighfar becomes obligated on him. Okay? So if it would, then he should seek repentance. Okay? The istighfar becomes obligation on him. ولكن يلزم التكفير عند التمكن على الأحوط وجوبا. However, whenever he's capable to do kafara, pay penalty, he should do that. Let's see. Okay. Okay, this is a private thing. Let's say a husband forces his wife to have intercourse in the holy month of Ramadan, in the daytime, obviously. Then what will happen? فَالْأَحْوَطْ وُجُوبًا. On the basis of obligatory precaution, he will pay double kafara. His kafara and his wife's kafara, because she was compelled. She was compelled. He pressured her. So he's going to pay 2 kafara. Not just that, he's not going to just pay 2 penalty on the basis of obligatory precaution. That the religious authority is going to decree a punishment for him. Religious authority. So there is a ta'zir. So what is ta'zir? Ta'zir is a punishment, disciplinary punishment, a Muslim judge decides. So this guy is going to be presented in front of the judge. If it becomes like spreads out in the judge and wife goes complain, Wife was like hyper spiritualistic wife, and she felt that she was violated in the holy month of Ramadan, and she did not feel good, and she went and did complain on the Hakim al-Shar'i. So Hakim al-Shar'i summons the husband. Come on, let's see. Testimony, witness, everything is done. So now the judge has the right to make a punishment. 10 lashes, putting in the prison for 3 days, or whatever punishment, whatever punishment the judge feels that it is sufficient for this person that he's not going to do next time. Okay, so it's kind of discipline punishment. It's not defined by the Sharia. The Sharia gives an option here to the judge to decide the punishment which is suitable. Now, now if you are in some countries, so your pocket, you have this dollars floating in your pocket. Okay, so yeah, the dollars here. So the judge is looking. The judge's eyes are on your dollars. So then he will give you based on the dollars you are going to give him the punishment. But Islamic Hakim al-Shar'i, judiciary, religious judge, okay, no, he does that, he's going to go to hell because his situation is very sensitive in front of Allah. So there is this yu'azzar, ta'zir. And it doesn't matter whether this wife was temporary or permanent. How about if the wife forces the husband, brings the gun, husband, you have to do. He said, no, everybody will pay their own kafara. وَلَا تُلْحَقُ الزَّوْجَ بِالزَّوْجِ. In this ruling, if the wife compels the husband, then the wife is not, she's not obligated to pay 2 penalties, and neither she's brought in front of the judge, because the husband is the authority. How can she compel you? But anyhow, the evidences indicate that only this rule is only if husband compels the wife. Now, doubts in the penalty. إذا علم أنه أتى بما يوجب فساد الصوم. If he became aware, or he had knowledge, or he knows that he brought something which invalidates the fast. وتردد فيما يوجب القضاء فقط أو يوجب الكفارة معه لم تجب عليه. So he knows that he brought some of the invalidators of the fast. However, he does not know that the invalidator, I have done it. Does it incur kafara or it does not incur kafara? Does it cause penalty or it does not cause penalty? So there's a hesitation. Did I do something which has penalty in it? So we'll say, no, don't worry about it. Penalty is not wajib, okay? Because you don't know that what you did obligates penalty or does not obligate penalty. Now remember, to Ayatullah Sistani, penalty is only from 5 invalidators from those 9 invalidators, okay? So if you do those other 4 invalidators, you will be committing haram, which is a great sin, but there will not be kafara. Kafara is limited for these 5 things which we mentioned in the beginning. Okay, this was ruling number 1. He's doubting, I did something wrong, but I don't know, I did something which causes kafara or not? We say no kafara. Number 2, وَإِذَا عَلِمَ أَنَّهُ أَفْطَرَ أَيَّامًا وَلَمْ يُدْرِي عَدَدَهَا اقتصر في الكفارة على القدر المعلوم. He knows that he has missed a few days of fast he has missed. However, he does not remember how many days, 10 days, 15 days, but he's sure that 10 days were missed. Now he does not remember about 10 days, how many days were missed. So he says that take the minimum certain amount. Like you know that 10 days are for sure, but you're doubting, is it like 11 day, 15 day, 20 day? Just fast 10 days and inshallah, kan Allah ghafur rahima. So whenever somebody hesitates, I don't know, I missed 10 days, I missed 20 days. Take 10 days, finish it off, and Allah will forgive you the rest. وَإِذَا عَلِمَ أَنَّهُ أَفْطَرَ أَيَّامًا. If he knows that he has invalidated some days, وَلَمْ يَدْرِي عَدَدَهَا, and he does not know how many of them. اقتصر في الكفارة على القدر المعلوم. So he will pay the penalty of the certain amount of days, certain days, like 10 days, 20, pay the kafar of 10 days. Don't worry about the rest. Okay, next ruling. وَإِذَا شَكَّ فِي أَنَّ الْيَوْمَ الَّذِي أَفْطَرَهُ كَانَ مِنْ شَهْرِ رَمَضَانَ أو كان من قضائه وقد أفطر قبل الزوال لم تجب عليه الكفارة. So now, like 30th Sha'ban. 30th Sha'ban people, they do qada. But in case it happens to be the holy month of Ramadan. So let's say he fasted a day and he invalidated it before Zhor. But he does not know or he does not remember, was that the holy month of Ramadan or was that the 30th Sha'ban I was doing qada? He says there will be no kafara because you broke your fast before Dhuhr time. You broke your fast before Dhuhr time, and qada is the maximum time of intention is Dhuhr time. So until Dhuhr time, if you're undecided, you can decide until Dhuhr. After Dhuhr, you can't. You must have made your decision a time of Dhuhr. So after Dhuhr, you can't say, oh, I'm going to fast. No, finish. The time of intention is gone because he was not planning to fast. So that's why this. So if somebody wants to decide, is thinking of maybe I'll fast, I'll not, you have to firm your intention. No, I'm going to fast. So that's your intention inside yourself. Obviously, intention is inside. أو كان من قضائه وقد أفطر قبل الزوال. He had invalidated it before the Dhuhr time. لم تجب عليه الكفارة. Kafara will not be wajib. However, وإن كان قد أفطر بعد الزوال, and is doubting whether this was the holy month or the qada. No, we will consider holy month, and you will have to pay 60 poor or fast 60 continuous days or free the slave, which is not applicable nowadays. وإن كان قد أفطر بعد الزوال, and if he had invalidated his fast after Dhuhr, كفر بإطعامه, he will penalize, will be penalized, or penalty will be feed 60 poor. And feeding 10 poor is not sufficient on the basis of obligatory precaution, because some ulamas, they said if somebody doubts it was the holy month of Ramadan or the qada and he broke the fast after Dhuhr, so he will just pay 10 poor. Sayyid Sistan says no, on the basis of obligatory precaution he will pay 60 or 60, like 60 poor feeding or 60 days fasting. Let me tell you one thing here. 60 days fasting continuous is not like continuous 60 days. You fast 31 days, like 30 days is a month and one day, and it is not like from first day of the month, like 1st January, no. You can start from 15th January. You can start from to any date you start. You have to fast 30 days and one day from the next month. So if you fast 31 days, 30 plus 1 connected, that means you fast 2 months continuously. Now next month, you can divide it. You can fast 3 days, once a week, twice a week, once a month. You can then divide it. But 31 days needs to be one after another. Make sure that you don't choose the days where Eid is encountered. And it's better not to choose where Ashura is encountered. Otherwise, once you break intentionally the kafara, 31 days fasting, you have to redo again, repeat the whole thing again, and you don't want to do that, okay? However, if woman, she had excuse, she can continue after the excuse. But we are talking about somebody who was in a mood not to fast, or he chose days where he knows, he has knowledge that it will encounter Eid. Ashura, we said you can fast, but it is seriously abhorred, makruh, undesirable. So Ashura, okay, you can fast because of your kafara. But Eid, no, it's haram to fast. If you knew that Eid is coming, and you, Eid al-Hajj, for example, and you started your kafara, and in the middle Eid came, you have to restart again. We are going to speak about this more detail. I think Sayyidi Sistani has a little bit difference in this mas'ala. So let's come back to this. So وَإِنْ كَانَ قَدْ أَفْطَرَ بَعْدَ الزَّوَالِ, we said. Now this person, إِذَا أَفْطَرَ مُتَعَمِّدًا, let's say he wants to be smart. He wants to outsmart the Sharia. So what happens? He invalidated his fast. In the morning, he had this hefty, nice, irresistible breakfast with pacha, with parathas, and with aloo bhujia, I don't know, whatever. This, he could not resist this, this nice, delicious. He saw his wife, she had a period, so she was an excuse. So she was eating her, enjoying her delicious iftar, and the husband comes, oh, what's happening? And he sits and he starts eating deliberately, intentionally, not forgetfully. Okay, now what will happen? Uh-oh. Now after they give a bark or a belch, oh my goodness, Ya Allah, I was fasting. I shouldn't have done that. But you knew that you're fasting. No, but Shaitan messed up with my mind, and I was like tempted with this nice parathas and pacha which my wife had made, and those kind of things. Like paratha is Urdu for Urdu speaking. Pacha is for Iraqi. Pacha is like legs of the goat. The Iraqis, they love it, and they especially eat it in the breakfast. And Iranians also, they have the same habit. But it's a very heavy dish for the breakfast. So this guy, but it's a very unique, like luxurious kind of food for many. Maybe new generation, they don't feel the charm of it, but the middle age of Iraqi groups, they really love it. So this pacha was there, okay? He broke his fast. Now he says, okay, let me just go and travel. Let me just travel and just make it bypass. No. It's done. Yes, if you wanted to do that, you should have traveled and taken some date or something and come back and then eat this pacha or paratha or bhujia or aloo, but not now. It's too late. You already invalidated, so you have kafara. So إِذَا أَفْطَرَ مُتَعَمِّدًا, if he invalidates his fast intentionally, ثُمَّ سَافَرَ قَبْلَ الزَّوَالِ, and he travels before Zhor, لَمْ تَسْقُطْ عَنْهُ الْكَفَّارَةِ. Kafara is not going to be omitted from him. Okay? So kafara is not going to be fallen from him. So this guy, he wants to bypass the kafara. We'll say, no, bro. Kafara is already on your shoulder. So you can travel if you want to, but your fast is gone. وَأَمَّا إِذَا أَفْطَرَ مُتَعَمِّدًا ثُمَّ عَرَضَ لَهُ عَارِضٌ قَهْرِيٌّ مِنْ حَيْضٍ أَوْ نِفَاسٍ أَوْ مَرَضٍ. This lucky lady, you see, or this lucky guy or unlucky because of being sick. So however, he says, if an accidental, forceful circumstances encountered him or her, okay, then the kafara will be. So he broke his fast or she broke his fast, okay, in the morning. And then after that, oh my goodness, now I have to pay kafara. What have I done? But suddenly, God loves these people. So this guy was enforced with the circumstances which prevents him from fasting. So she got period. Or no, the baby was born. So she got postnatal bleeding. Or no, the guy must have eaten something in the pacha. He got food poison, so he became sick. And so on, from the excuses which exempt the fast from a responsible person. لم تجب عليه الكفارة. Kafara will not be obligated on him. وإن كان الأحوط استحبابا أداؤها. Even though it's recommended precaution, just pay it. Okay? ولا سيما إذا كان العارض القهري بتسبيب منه خصوصا إذا كان بقصد سقوط الكفارة. So it's recommended precaution to pay the kafara when this forceful. The recommended precaution is emphasized, wala siyama, especially if that forceful encountering excuse was caused by himself. So let's say she was regretting, why did I break? Now I have to fast 60 days, feed 60 poor or something like that. So she takes the pills and she gets the period. Oh, alhamdulillah. Well, there's no kafara, but it's recommended precaution to do the kafara because now you got the period intentionally. Or postnatal, she's carrying a child, and I don't know, she drank a lot of those herbal things, and whoops, the child is now going to be born, and she gets the nifas. So even though this forceful encountering thing were caused by that person, the kafara will be not there, and it will be there on the basis of recommended precaution. Emphasize recommended precaution. Or no, this guy now he ate this pacha. Oh, what have I done? Let me eat more and more so I become sick, and then I don't have to fast, then kafara will be dropped. So he's cause of being exempt from fasting. He makes himself, however, exempt, we can't do anything, okay? So this person will be exempt for fasting. However, it's recommended precaution, emphasize recommended precaution, because you caused yourself to be exempt. So these are the two types of encountering forceful excuses which exempts a person from fasting. So one is it happened, accidental. One is no, it was intentional. But say this Islam says in both cases it's recommended precaution to pay kafara. However, the intentional cause is like more strong recommended precaution. Ruling number 1022. إذا كان الزوج مفطرا. So let's say the husband was not on fasting. He was like what? He was like sick, for example, or he came from travel, so he was not fasting. He had an excuse not to fast, for example. لعذر, for an excuse. فأكره زوجته الصائمة. He compelled his fasting wife for the intercourse. لم يتحمل عنها الكفارة. Here, he will not be paying kafara for her, because here he had an excuse, so he could, but she did not have an excuse. You should have thought about that. وَإِنْ كَانَ آثِمًا بِذَلِكَ, even though he's a sinner by committing such. Okay? وَإِنْ كَانَ آثِمًا بِذَلِكَ كَمَا لَا تَجِبُ الْكَفَّارَ عَلَيْهِ. So she doesn't have any kafara because she was forced. He doesn't have any kafara because he was not fasting, but he has committed sin. So if a husband forces his wife and he is exempt from fasting, he has an excuse, but the wife was not excused. So you are going to commit sin, number one. Number two, you are not going to pay penalty. She is not going to pay penalty because she was compelled. So this was, and then the last slide, the obligatory to pay kafara, wujub al-kafara, muwassa. It's flexible. It's not that, oh, I have to pay it immediately after the holy month of Ramadan. Oh, I have to know. It's flexible. However, you should not be careless to leave it after 10 years or 20 years. No. Flexible means whenever you are able to just do it, okay? Like there is a flexibility. But neglecting it, negligence, then that becomes haram. Wujubul kafarati muwassa. Paying the penalty is obligatory of paying the penalty is flexible. Walakin la yajuzu ta'khir. But however, it is forbidden to delay in paying it. في أدائها إلى حد يعد توانيا وتسامحا, in a way that it becomes negligence and carelessness, okay, in fulfilling the obligatory. More rulings of kafara, he says that they are going to be discussed in the chapter of kafarat, so refer to those chapters. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين. صلي على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على
وآل محمد اللهم صل على